Okay, so this is what I want to say about the JFK files. The point of the JFK files release was never to actually like pin it on any one person. I think it's more so to show how this elite group of people operate, and then furthermore, for us to show that they still do this today, and they've been doing it. They never stopped doing it. And that's what brings me to something General Flynn said. General Flynn on Twitter had this post. He was quote tweeting a war clandestine post here. It says, the elephant in the room question is, would they overthrow our own government? Because one of the big things that the file showed is that they were not afraid to overthrow world governments, and they did so in very, very shady ways. And I think one thing we can do with these files is prove to people that the same way they were operating back then is the same way they're operating right now, and the same thing they did in 2020. Because you can see the themes. One example, the AFL-CIO in their Operation Mongoose plans, where they talk about overthrowing Castro and the things they're going to do. Everything from organizing protests, lawfare, to delegitimizing them in the mainstream media with news, to using biological warfare against the country to get people upset to overthrow Castro. And the AFL-CIO was involved in that, organizing protests, all these things. If you look at the stuff in this list that they're using to overthrow Castro, you can go back and tie it to almost everything they did to Trump during his first administration and ever since. From delegitimizing it in the news, lawfare, the biological warfare, and the propaganda in the news. What was the pandemic? Go sometime on Yandex or just do a search for the AFL-CIO and the CIA. You will get a bunch, there's a bunch of stories going back a long time showing how connected the AFL-CIO is with the CIA. This article from 2020, you look up the AFL-CIO in here, and you'll see they never stopped doing it, and they admitted to it in this article. It was all very, very strange, Trump said on December 2nd. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. In a way, Trump was right. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the AFL-CIO. Both sides have come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive racial justice protests, probably CIA-funded, in which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. There's multiple things I could go through in this article where they talk about organizing the protests, holding weekly meetings, all sorts of things. This was the hub of how they prevented Trump from winning the election in 2020, how they stole it from him. They say they fortified it, but they really stole it. The key point here is the JFK files. It was never about who actually killed Kennedy, because they were never going to tell us the details of that. We're never going to get it. But instead what we got is the behavior of the deep state, of the people who killed Kennedy, and how it's still relevant and prevalent today. It never went away. It never stopped. And Trump even admitted to that. There's that clip.
This persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country.
And they were behind all the lawfare and all these things. That's who it is. And that's what's exposed in the JFK files. We're up against this entire system. And that system doesn't stop unless we expose it and rid ourselves from it. And that's what I think the JFK files are about.